I want to read to you, this was the suggested title by the legislature of something that's on the ballot this year. The Arkansas, this is now HJR 1009, the Arkansas Elected Officials Ethics, Transparency, and Financial Reform Amendment of 2014. Well, that sounds pretty nice. Who can't like that? If you turn to page 16, do we all read to page 16 when we're waiting in line voting, right? If you turn to page 16, it moves the House terms from 6 years to 16. The Senate terms from 8 years to 16. There's two little paragraphs on page 16. This is deception. This is a scam. This flies in the face and disrespects voters. Vote is precious. You know, some of these legislators, one in this county won by 25 votes. Did you know that? He's in the Senate right now because of 25 votes. He, I think it was 1% that he won by. But it was only one vote that he won by. He would demand to keep the seat, wouldn't he? You know what? He deserves to keep the seat. Those are the rules. If you win the election, we've got to follow and we've got to proceed accordingly, and he gets to have that seat. Term limits didn't win by one vote, 25 votes, 1%. Term limits was the biggest landslide twice in this state. And we're asking the legislature to do something. We're asking them to respect the voter and honor the vote. That's what we're asking. Well, they didn't do that. They could have taken this off the ballot in the last session. They didn't do it. So now what's going to happen is that we're going to have an amendment. Knowing the will of the people on this issue, we're going to have an amendment that most people are going to get fooled. And it's our job that that doesn't happen. And that's why I'm here tonight and not painting pretty pictures. That's why I'm here tonight. We need your help. Bob is going to be passing out a list. We want your name. We want help. We need people to get speaking engagements for us. We need people to hand out literature to their friends and family and tell them what's going to be on the ballot, because an informed voter, that's all we're asking for. That's all we're asking for. I would welcome a debate whether we should have shorter terms or longer terms. I'd welcome that debate. Now, I believe the term limits the way they are, I like them. I think they work better. They've brought more diversity to the legislature. There's more women in the legislature now. The parties have changed in the legislature. More African Americans in the legislature. And it doesn't help any one group. It just provides an openness where you're going to have the natural ratios of demographics that are in the state in the legislature. It used to be that lawyers dominated the legislature. Now, after term limits, still a lot of lawyers there, but they're down by 1/3 now. Well, we have expertise from farmers. We have expertise from teachers. We have expertise from engineers. That's what we want. That's what we want. I'm so tired of hearing experts. Experts in what? They're not supposed to be experts. The founding father didn't want experts. King George was an expert. He was the only one that knew. We want regular people to go up there and, as James Madison said, burst like a bubble to the sea and then go backwards. And that's what we want. We want a citizen legislature. We want people to go back and live under the laws that they've created. It's important. It's really important. Some of you share my belief that we've had a recent bill that's probably the most important bill in a long time. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act. But I probably share your belief on that because I think it's just terrible policy. It's terrible. Why would we want to give up our choice on health care? Why would we want to turn that over to to a government that doesn't seem to be able to run much anything. If you had a bunch of sheets on the table wondering what insurance company would your husband and wife were thinking about for their family, would you go, hey, honey, here's one that's $17 trillion in debt. What are eggs in that basket? Would you do that? It just makes no sense. And we will regret, probably pretty soon, that we've given these banks this much power. They're the enforcer of this. We will regret that soon, and generations past us will regret that. So I just think it's terrible policy, terrible in so many ways, but it's not just the policy that's terrible. We watched a spectacle, and this was passed. It's not only policy, but it's procedure and process. Because process is important. Remember when they gave the vote and they wrote the Constitution that was ratified in 1789, they didn't tell us what policies we have to have. Show us the procedure in which people are going to make those decisions. It's a fairness. It's rules that we must live by. I'll scream more. But procedure and process is important. We watched where a senator from Louisiana was just given a buyout, a payoff to support this. We watched one state out of 50 states get a bunch of money, Nebraska, just for supporting this. Ugly. What happened to due process? What happened to equal protection? And then we heard this new word, waiver, which means lawbreaker.
Thank you.
That's what that means. Have you ever been stopped by a cop and I'd like my waiver? But you're going to give waivers to political friends? Is that what we've come to in this country? We can't stand for that. We can't stand for that. That's worse than the policy, the process was. We had a president go on national TV and told George Stephanopoulos, this is not a tax. This is not a tax. George Stephanopoulos read Webster's definition. And President Obama says, that's how extreme you've been. You're going to have to bring out Webster? Well, that's the definition. And then the same people argued in the Supreme Court it was a tax so that it would pass constitutional muster. All tax bills are supposed to start in the House. Did this start in the House? Nope. No. It really started in the Senate. But they did all this. They warped the process. And process is important. That's what fairness is. And that's what they've done on this term limit, anti-term limit bill, whatever they call it. When they put it on page 16, this isn't somebody trying to get a county road for their brother-in-law paid. This is the biggest yes vote in Arkansas history, is what they've hit. They know how the voters feel about this. There's no doubt how the voters feel about this. We need your help. We've got to tell people what's going on here.